Hey guys, Brian here from Top Deck. So today we'll be bringing you the grand finals of the box tournament at SPRIGHT One Collectibles, hosted by your one and only Poe Jiang. On the right we have Peter Metro, and on the left we have Jojo SMR. So Peter has actually started his own YouTube channel. It's called PACKEMUP. His channel will be in the links in the description box down below, as well as his deck profile, so do check him out when you have time. He is a very good player. Of course Jojo is nothing to be scuffed at as well. Yeah, but with all that being said, let's just get right in. So yeah, so we have a very special equipment today. It's the stand that is currently filming this. My phone is filming this from a bird's eye view, as you guys can see. The lighting is very good. Big shout outs to Harry. You know who you are, for lending us the equipment to do this feature match. So we're just waiting for the dice right now, because we forgot to bring the dice, so I'm just running over. Oh, there's the dice. So Jojo SMR will roll a 10. And Peter will roll one at a time. That will be a 6 and a 1. So that will be a total 7. So you may see some delays here and there. I have muted the audio because a lot of you guys may not take banter well. And Peter's banter is something to see if you guys do come to our locals. Peter's a very fun person, very smart player. So beginning of the game will be Jojo will be special summoning the Swap Frog, pitching the Ronin Totem in his hand, and it will be met by a Huffiness from Peter, milling the top 3 of his deck, and special summoning the Huffiness. So he has milled the Triple Tactics Talent, the Rhino Heart, as well as Dark Ruler No More. Swap Frog will now resolve, sending a frog from the deck to the graveyard, and that will be Swap Frog. And now Peter has the chance to resolve his Rhino Heart, sending a TEARLAMENT from the hand to the graveyard, as well as special summoning the Rhino Heart. And now Peter has plenty of opportunity to fusion, as Merly was sent by an card effect, which is Rhino Heart's effect, as well as Rhino Heart's effect will trigger to send an additional tier from the deck to the graveyard. So we'll see Peter think. He will opt to go Chainlink 1 with Merly, Chainlink 2 with Rhino Heart, sending a TEARLAMENT monster to the grave first, and then Merly will trigger to fusion. Now Peter is a very good player, and he is very helpful in terms of our plays. So a lot of the times he's the one that taught me this: always think your plays through. Stop being nervous, always think your plays through. So Rhino Heart will send a Siren, and Merly will now trigger to fuse with the Huffiness on the field to make a Kickalos. And now Peter will only trigger the Kickalos effect to add a tier from the deck to the hand, or send a tier to the graveyard. I believe a lot of people actually forget about the second effect. So if you guys see any misplays in the video, do comment down below. Do keep in mind, no matter how good you are, you're still human. People that are professionals, pro players, still make mistakes. But do comment down below to help all of us get better at the game. And now he will send Huffiness to the graveyard, or Siren, I missed it, sorry. And then it will trigger to fusion with the Kaleido Heart, with the Rhino Heart to make a Kaleido Heart. And he will shuffle back the Swap Frog from the field to the deck. And Rhino Heart is banished because it was summoned by its own effect, and it will be banished if it leaves the field. And a lot of people has forgotten that. Now Jojo has not used his normal summon yet, so he will begin with a normal summon of Sprite Red, followed by a special summon of Sprite Blue, netting him another Sprite from the deck to his hand. Jojo will opt for the Sprite Jet, and will special summon the Sprite Jet, searching a Sprite, Spell and Trap, into his hand, which is probably going to be smashes or starter to net follow up. I believe Jojo is thinking about the starter. I mean the smashes. Because the Kaleido Heart is a big threat on the field. If you don't deal with it immediately, the tier players can just snowball out of control. Jojo's just checking his line of play. As I have mentioned before, Jojo and Peter, both Jojo and Peter are very good players. So they think their lines through before they do anything. And that's why I want our viewers to do as well. Now Jojo will overlay the jet with the blue to make a gigantic sprite, activating its effect. Peter will let that resolve, detaching the sprite blue to special summon a level 2 from the deck, and that's most likely going to be a swap frog, maybe not, because he does have the Ronin Totem in the grave as well as a swap frog, so he can bring back with the elf, so there is a potential of going through the Hulk line. For extra protection, I believe Jojo is opting to go into the Sprite Carrot. Let's just see what he does. So Jojo will opt for that Sprite Carrot on the field. And now with the standard play, he will link off into a Sprite Elf, summoning the Toad through the Elf and the Swap Frog. So link up his gigantic Sprite. And he's just thinking whether to use the carrot or the red. However, the red is in attack position because it was normal summon. It is a lot more susceptible to being attacked. So he will indeed do that and summon the Sprite Elf. Using the Sprite Elf effect to summon a level 2 back to the field, and that will be Swap Frog. Triggering Swap Frog effect again to dump a Swap Frog, and the Swap Frog will be banished to summon the Ronin Totem. And now he will overlay the Ronin Totem with the Swap Frog to make a totally awesome. Now they're both in the zones where Sprite Elf is pointing to, so they cannot be targeted. Very, very standard play coming out from Jojo. Yep. And in the standby phase, Jojo will use the totally awesome effect to summon Dupe Frog to protect the rest of his field from attacks. And we can see that Jojo has set an infinite impermanence as well as the smashes, so he's most likely going to force Peter into the battle phase and then smashes the Kaleido, making him waste his battle phase, and Kid can only attack the Dupe Frog, putting him in a very disadvantageous position. So yeah, while we're waiting, I do want you guys to know that SPRIGHT One Collectibles is on every Wednesday and Saturday. Come down if you're in Australia, in Sydney. Oh, now we'll move to the battle phase. Jojo will allow the move to battle phase, and Peter will attack with the Kaleido Heart into the Dupe Frog. Jojo is thinking on the declaration, and he's most likely going to use the smashes here. Jojo has not opted to use a Sprite Elf at the end of main phase to get an extra body for the Splight Smashes. Probably because he wants to keep the double Toad Omni Negate, because it is very, very strong, very hard to deal with. So he does indeed activate the Smashes, banishing the gigantic Sprite in the graveyard for cost. And the effect will resolve, banishing the Sprite Carrot and the Kaleido Heart. And now Kit will just attack the Dupe Frog, and the Dupe Frog will trigger its effect. You got a lot of people have forgotten about Dupe Frog's second effect because it often misses timing. So Dupe Frog has an effect where if it is sent to the graveyard, I'm not sure if by battle or card effect, but it can search a frog from the deck to the hand or recur one from the grave. And now Peter will follow up with a Siren from the hand. Siren will discard a monster as well as mill the top 3 cards of your deck. So let's see if Jojo will respond to that. He's just thinking in chain, so chainlink 1 Siren. So Siren resolves, pitching another Siren from the hand to the grave and milling the top 3 in his deck. Then that'll be Beast, Super Poly, and as well as an Albaz. So Peter will go Siren 1, Beast 2. Beast will get him a card from the top of his deck to his hand, drawing 1 card. And Siren will be able to fusion with whatever is in the grave. And I wonder what he'll go for. So Peter draws a card, draws into a branded fusion. And now the Siren in the grave will fuse with the Siren on the field, netting him another kicker loss. Another kicker loss indeed. And the kicker loss will use its effect to either add a Tearlament from the deck to the hand or send one to the graveyard. Jojo is thinking in chain again. He does have the Toad Negate to take the kit to stop the pressure that comes in. When you're versing the Tearlament deck, the kit is one of the scariest thing to deal with because it does recur itself. It searches, it mills the top 5 if you don't destroy it by battle. It is an amazing card, and that's probably the one you want to stop. Jojo is thinking about activating his impermanence here or his Toad. I believe that Toad will be the better choice as it does get a body off the field. And potential Chimera play will not come up. I'm not sure if Peter plays Chimera. You guys could check his deck profile out and tell me in the comments down below whether he plays Chimera and the fusion package. And now Elf will be chain summoning back the Toad. The camera did shift a little because I was overseeing the camera. And now Peter will normal summon an Aluba, and that will be met with an infinite impermanence. Yeah, I adjusted the camera a little because my phone's kind of heavy and the C-stand wasn't really holding on very strong. Do excuse that. Well, back into the topic of the game. Peter is not in a very good position with the Toad still being intact, and he would just set a branded opening and pass his turn. I don't see a tier in the hand, so the branded opening will not be able to trigger one of the tiers in the hand during Jojo's turn. Now Jojo will think about flipping the kit up to apply some pressure. So that will be a flip summon of the Kikalos. And he will begin his turn with a normal summon of Deep Sea Diva, which gets him another Deep Sea Diva from the deck onto the field. Now Jojo's just thinking about what line he could take. It is a very advantageous position for him. He just needs to think up the OTK line. It could either be Cat Shark with Gigantic Sprite with the Sprite Elf as the material, so it could be pumped up to insane numbers. I think it is 7,200, and that will be more than enough to end the game with the rest of the monsters on his field. So both players are very good, and they do take their time in thinking the play through. Of course, reasonable time, you don't want to be slow playing. Reasonable time to think the playthrough before you do them. I do want you guys to think about all the possible outcomes and all the possible ways that your opponent can interact with you. And we have Jojo here take game 1 of Peter. Very well played by Jojo. Also very well played by Peter. However, his mills were a bit unlucky on his own turn. On Jojo's turn, it was kind of insane, making a kit and a Kaleido on his turn. As you can see, Peter has a lot of purple cards in his side deck. You guys can check out his deck profile. Did I say that? Probably did. But yeah, check out his deck profile. I find that a lot of your comments down at my video do coincide with Peter's list. And Peter's list is what a lot of people do look to in the in our locals. Oh yeah, and you'll see my foot there just to move the angle so you guys can see the match better. Yeah, so I know one of you guys have commented skill drain in the side. Peter has adopted that and it got him second place. At the previous box tournament, yes, it got him second place at the previous box tournament. He has been performing consistently with this deck. Let's see if he could really pull through in this round. One of the points of contentions between me and Peter in terms of the branded tier list is that I really like the King of the Swamp engine, and as it is quite the versatile and more fun card to have, because it does enable the Chimera play, the Caliga play, and he plays more of the branded engine. As a lot of you guys think the branded engine is a very strong engine and we should be seeing it as much as possible. However, there's also the other side where they don't want to see the branded cards as much. Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked out Jojo's deck profile yet, it will be in the link in the description box down below, along with Peter's deck profile as well as channel. Do check them all out if you have the time. It's really insightful what they do and how they play. The YCS Hartford mat looks so good. Big shout outs to Poe for facilitating this feature match. He was very helpful throughout the day in filming, in terms of helping me out, in terms of just being a nice dude, being a nice great store owner. If you guys do have the chance, come down to Strike One Collectibles. And yeah, so Peter's doing the special shuffling technique he learned from Poe at YCS Hartford. It's called the Musho. It randomizes the deck so much that he doesn't even know where anything is. And let's see if the shuffling has anything, did anything. So Peter will begin with normal summon of Merly on his turn. He will opt to go first, and it will be met with an infinite impermanence. Peter will set one and pass. Jojo will draw a card for turn. I see an evenly another imperm, as well as a crow in his hand. I don't think he has many plays, if any. I guess the Musho shuffling technique did work. Big shout out to Poe and Peter. It was a fun time. So Jojo will set one and pass. Now onto Peter's turn. Peter will top stacks the field spell, and then will begin with activating the field spell, netting him another TEARLAMENT monster from the deck to his hand, and he will opt for Siren. So now he will activate Siren effect in the hand, pitching a Merly, and as well as milling the top 3 of his deck. So he mills a Solemn Judgment, a Branded Opening, as well as a Skill Drain. He will go Merlic Chelik 1, and Jojo will think in chain. Jojo does have a DD Crow in hand. Will he choose to activate it? So Jojo will DD code the Merly, and Peter will just move straight to battle phase and attack with both Siren as well as Merly. Now it's Jojo's turn. Jojo will draw a card for turn, and that seemed to be... I cannot see. Let's hope it's something good. So we're just keeping track of life on the side. So if you see the fingers there, it's just like, oh, you attack with this and this, right? So Jojo will begin with an infinite impermanence, rendering Peter's back row useless, and followed by an evenly matched in battle phase. Very good play by Jonah. Disabling Peter's back row, and then following up with the evenly match to gain the advantage. So the life point's actually backwards, as you guys as you know, because Jojo took the damage. Now Jojo will begin with a normal summon of Ronin Totem, followed by Swipe Blue, and Peter will chain the Hephaestus, milling the top 3 in his deck, which will be Aluba, Crime. He's playing the third TEARLAMENT spell and trap, which is this Crime or Crimey, or some of you guys would like to refer to. It is a very strong card going first. It is an Omni Negate, and the third mill will be Branded Fusion. Very unlucky for Peter, and he will search a Merly to his hand. Blue will grab Jojo a Jet, and Jet will grab him probably a starter here. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Why is he grabbing a red? So Peter's just showing what he searched. Carrot? We will have to rewind that to see if there was actually a misplay. I wasn't too focused. So let's have a look. Did he have... Oh, so Blue grabbed Jet. And Jet... Let's have a look. So Jojo has skipped a step with the Jet into the... Jet into the carrot. However, Peter doesn't seem to have any response. So the correct play will be Jet into starter, into carrot, which is missing a step of starter. Doesn't make too much of a difference because Peter does not have any response. However, we will be able to catch that next time. So Jojo now will Swap Frog effects, Swap Frog dump Swap Frog banish to summon Ronin Totem overlay on top of Swap Frog to get a totally awesome. And passing turn. Peter draws for turn. And normal summons the Merly. I can't believe we didn't catch that. So the Merly will be met with the Toad Negate, I believe. As he could change, and Peter changed the Halfness from his hand. And Jonah changed the Sprite Elf to summon back the Toad. Peter hits a Sprite Elf. Peter hits a Halfness in the grave, and it will be met by a bell, and that will just be a PACKEMUP. And yeah, so that will be the match. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have been requesting a lot of live duels, so I do want to do more of these commentary. If you like it, do comment down below. I'll be doing a lot more live duel commentating, as well as my own thoughts regarding the game. I believe like both players played really well. Peter at the last bit did not use his Halfness to attack into the elf, which was a very big mistake, I think, on Peter's part. However, we are all human, we all make mistakes. No matter how good the player is, they still make mistakes at a professional stage. As you guys can see in the YCSs and the Euros that happened recently, there was a lot of misplays. But as I said, practice makes perfect, and with that being said, keep practicing, keep if you guys can, keep watching my guides. And with all that being said, that's Top Deck Brian. out.